Hey, what's up everybody? Video 44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so we're at Crypto.com Arena. Now in my last video, I went through all of the Laker statues here. I'm actually outside, of course, the arena here. And you can see Magic Man, big fella, Jerry West. I probably should have did that in this video, but got Elgin over here. Got Golden Throat over there, but I just wanted to come here and tell y'all how happy I am with my LA Lakers. Basketball game against the LA Clippers yesterday in emphatic fashion. It was an overtime game. I believe the score was 130 to 125. And we needed that win, man. We needed that win for a million different reasons, but none more than the fact that we had lost to this team 11 straight times, y'all. And dating back to the freaking bubble. I tell you, man, when it really comes down to it, I just think, and I said this yesterday, and I'll say it again, when the Lakers don't rely upon career role guys who, we like them, Taurean Prince, Gabe Vincent, we like these dudes, but when you don't rely upon them and you let the young players who have real upside actually get in, you find out that they can probably do more for you than those guys can. I cannot stress this enough. I've said this more than once. I like them dudes, but they ain't got no business getting 35 to 40 minutes on any basketball team unless it's the Miami Heat for Gabe Vincent. Other than that, Gabe Vincent is a 15 to 20 minute a night guy. That is what he is. Now, I know our roster has made it so that we have to play these dudes at a certain type of way because we're missing people, particularly at the guard spot. We don't really have a choice. But there ain't no sense in running them dudes so much because you can clearly see what happens when you put in the Max Christie's defensively. You can clearly see what happens when you shuffle it around and let Christian Wood play a little more. You could clearly see what happened when we let Cam Reddish get in the game and what he did for us defensively. You can clearly see that we're a better basketball team when we just allow the guys who have more upside rather than solidified career role guys who are kind of flat-footed, up and down, side to side dudes, but some dudes, some wiggly ability, particularly guys who can get it done defensively. And I know, look, Taurean Prince is a fantastic defender, so could, that's Chicky baby. Chicky, my inspiration here. It's one of those situations where, yes, I know they can play defense too, but at the end of the day, their upside only goes but so far, man. It only goes but so far. So I want Darvin Ham to consider letting Cam Reddish, heck, move the Maxes into the lineup, man. Max Christie, Max Lewis. Let's see what these guys can do before we find ourselves in a situation where we're honestly simply moving in a direction with those guys for 40 and 50 minutes. The Taurean Prince, I don't need him out there for no 40 minutes. You saw how we looked when we set him when he wasn't in the game. We have more upside defensively, and that defensive pressure that the wings put on our team helps with guys like Christian Wood and Austin Reeves with their defense. It makes their defense better because the offense has to respect them a bit more for all the energy that they bring to the table. If Max Christie's jump shots start falling like it did in Summer League, he's going to be somebody y'all going to want to see play a lot more. The shot isn't falling right now, but his athleticism is something to behold when he gets going. Problem is with Max Christie, the same problem that Austin Reeves had when he first got started. He's going to have to tighten up his handle because they're going to seek him out and they're going to take it from him. We saw a little bit of that yesterday in the first half. Even Austin Reeves needs to continue to work on that. They got to work on their handle, continue to work on their ball handling, so that these guys can't take the ball from them, basically. So, you know, that's where my head is, man. Just happy to be down here. Definitely excited about my squad as a whole. We have the depth to do it. You can clearly see how Anthony Davis is able to benefit from having guys like Christian Wood and Jackson Hayes down there on the floor, just helping him with the stuff that otherwise his body is asked to do by itself. Usually they put him on the floor with guys that are 6'8" or less. He needs people his height to make it so that he doesn't have to play center, or if he does play center, it ain't the same dynamic. And that is what our GM has allowed for when bringing in those two particular players. We just got to play them, man. We see how much better we are as a team on both sides of the floor when Christian Wood and Anthony Davis on the floor at the same time. It just makes Christian Wood a better defender. He's able to block shots and do different things that are necessary for our squad. We want more length on the floor. I can't stress this enough. And when D'Lo's balling, it just makes us even more tough to beat. He had been struggling a little bit to start the season, we know that. But when it really came down to it, We saw him step up over the last 3 games. His shooting percentages just gotten better and better and better. And yesterday, he really helped us filling up the box score. So I was very pleased with D'Angelo Russell. We just need consistency from D'Lo. We don't need him to be, we don't need him to be this guy. Not at all. He don't have to be him. We just want him to be D'Lo, man. That's it. Be Irving Magic, but just be D'Lo, and that'll be cool, man. And do that thing that you do where you steal the ball from people rather quickly. He's one of the guys that have a real talent for having cat-like quickness with his hands. Super efficient type of guy when he's got it going. Very difficult. His conditioning is where it needs to be. A lot of times the D'Lo that we've seen since bringing him in trade has been somebody that basically we see a lot of the time isn't in his best shape. Had the callus condition that I know that they've since fixed for him. Finding solutions for that and ultimately getting him back to where he can run and do the things that he loves to do. So we saw him slashing at the bucket so much more to start this season. And you know, when you really consider the team is 3-2 right now, with all the injury issues that we're dealing with, the key to the squad is just going to be to make sure that we don't find ourselves in situations where incorporating guys back into the lineup makes it so that we're a lesser ball club. Because at the end of the day, you want to play the right players. We do have a deep team, so it's a good chance you may play the wrong combination, end up losing the basketball game, making the team look worse just for not having the right rotations on the floor. Once you start to solidify that, then you start to really seeing what this team can actually do from a night-to-night basis. So that's what I think we're benefiting from, man. I just think you subtract the right people and insert the right people, and your team is just different. It's so much more different. Energy all over the floor, youthfulness all over the floor, athleticism, you know, more so on the floor, length, more so on the floor. So that's what I want to see Darvin Ham continue to experiment with. Well, the coaching staff is going to have to assist him with making sure that we get the right guys out there. Experiment may not be the right word for what it is we want to see, because when he experiments, he usually leans into stuff that makes it smaller. But, you know, I'm excited about what this roster can potentially be, man. Very much so. So that's what I wanted to say, man. I love what I saw from our team yesterday. Anthony Davis playing the way that he has, when you consider the type of conditioning that he's coming to this season with, the type of conditioning that Anthony Davis is playing with is utterly phenomenal, man. We just love him being in shape. We love him putting himself in position to be able to play night in and night out, not missing any games, not falling on the floor and being all kinds of out of shape and off balance. I tell you, he looks as good as he's looked since probably his 3rd or 4th year in the league with New Orleans. That's how good he looks out there to me right now. Not ailing in any way, not falling apart every time he hits the floor or anything like that. You don't have to stay down for long. It's not one of those situations where it's in his head. He's just bouncing back up. He's throwing his body around, and he's able to withstand what it is that's ultimately coming his way. So that's what we want to see from Anthony Davis, continued conditioning, positive conditioning. You know what I mean? So of course, it starts with the diet and ends with the workouts and rest. But he's gonna try to play 82 this year. And so far, if you look at his streak for how many games has been played, he has a nice little streak going for himself, dating back to the playoffs of last year. So I like what I'm seeing. He's played through pain a lot of the time. He doesn't get enough credit for the pain that he's played through. And you just got to appreciate when a guy puts his body on the line, man. Puts the effort into his body so that he can put his body on the line and not have the issues that ultimately he's had in the past. So I feel good about Anthony Davis, man. And, of course, LeBron James. Listen, man, his statue, I don't know if they're going to give him a statue, but as many years as he's now put in as a Laker, I think it's a good chance we may actually see a statue out here of LeBron James. I don't know if that's going to sit well with everybody because, he didn't spend a good portion of his career here. But you got to think, he's still going this strong. How many more years do you think he's going to play? And in the event he continues to play, if he puts in enough years as a Laker, why would not he have a statue? He's already going up in the rafters. You can get that out your mind right now. As soon as he won a championship, he was going up in the rafters. But as far as a statue's concerned, people want to see you win multiple championships here. People want to see you do multiple accolades here. But the thing is, he's going to have a positive asterisk next to his name, in my opinion, because of the age that he's doing all of this extraordinary stuff in our uniform. You know, he's my age. Dude is 39 years of age in December and putting up numbers that we've never seen anyone put up. And that ain't enough. It's that he's put in more hours and put in more minutes rather than anybody who's ever played. On top of that, You could find a guy who's his age, have a game like that, but ain't put in half the mileage that he has in their career. This dude has had more mileage than any superstar or any player of any kind in this league. And he's still exceeding expectations as it pertains to breaking records for the most points scored as a person his age yesterday at 35 years of age, 35 points at 39 years of age, well, 38. But you get what I'm trying to say? LeBron James is an alien, like I told y'all, and this whole need for him to be in load management nonsense, I don't see it. I don't think LeBron James needs to load manage at all. I don't think we need to have minutes restriction on him at all. If anything, I think we're much better if we play him the way that he's used to being played before he started having the injuries that happened when he came to this team. Because right now, I think his body's in the best condition he's been in since he got here. I legitimately think he's in better shape than he was in the dang bubble. He's leaner. His legs look stronger. He's more quick. I don't know if he's changed his diet. I don't know what he did this offseason, but he's in a position, in my opinion, to move right back into the MVP conversation so long as he doesn't have any injuries. Because the way he's playing through 5 games, he's a candidate. I challenge you to find somebody who's been more worthy of being in the top 10 than LeBron James in the first 5 games of the NBA season. He's upped his assist percentage, I believe. It has to be up because the dude is getting 8 and 9 of them every day. His numbers are high as heck. He's scoring like crazy. His three-point pursuit is up. I haven't had a chance to look at his plus-minus necessarily, but I'd imagine he's playing great. His rebounding is where it needs to be. His defensive stats look fantastic. He's playing like LeBron James. You know what I mean? And as far as him being able to get off the ground, we've seen him get off the ground in some extraordinary ways in these first 5 games. The lob dunk that Austin Reeves gave to him, that steal that he had against the Phoenix Suns, man got off the ground. He was up there like 11 feet high or something. So as far as I can tell, the athleticism is in place. The speed is where we want it to be. His strength is just going to continue to increase. And at 38 years of age, yeah, if he continues on the trajectory he's on and doesn't have any setbacks, I don't see why he can't keep doing this for another 4 or 5 years, man. I really don't. And so, call me crazy, but I just think, as we know, he's something like for which we've never seen before. And because of it, I do believe LeBron James is going to be an MVP candidate at the end of this season, so long as he doesn't have any setbacks at all. If he stays on this pace and we continue to play that we're playing as a team, or better, of course, because we didn't start off that great. But if he plays like that, man, I don't know how we can look at him and not, just by the grace of what it is he's doing at what age, put him in that conversation with some of the guys that are going to be up for MVP this year. I know it's early. It's only 5 games. But he's a shoo-in for the All-Star because he's going to get voted in regardless. But he's having a better season to start the season than he's had, in my opinion, in several years. I really believe that, man. He looks better. So, shout out to the King. You know what I mean? I'm wearing his shirt. You won't be able to see that, but this is a James shirt. And maybe we can see it, maybe not. This is definitely a James shirt. Nah, I can't see it. Ain't no way for me to pull that off. Nah, that's not gonna work. But it got James on the back of the shirt, man, and I'm repping today. I'm definitely repping for the King because I know that we don't have none of these wins we have if he didn't play absolutely phenomenal. That Phoenix game, it's a loss if he doesn't play the way he played. That Clipper game, a loss if he doesn't play the way he played. And the Orlando game, I'm pretty certain we don't win that either, even though D'Lo really stepped up big in AD as well. And of course, that's not me saying that we could win without AD or these guys. We couldn't without them either, but we need the King to play at this level, man. And he's giving it to us on a high level. And I'm very pleased with that as a Laker fan, man. And I just want people to know how proud I am of this team for beating these LA Clippers yesterday. At the end of the day, it did take overtime to do it. We know that we had, a 19-point deficit in the game. And to start the game, they had like 11 steals against us per, 12 turnovers at the half. But what I understand about this Laker team is that they came back in the second half of this basketball game with a different energy. The Clippers cooled off from behind the arc, and we started putting forth the energy players on the floor like Max Christie and what's my guy's name? Cam Reddish. We put those two on the floor. Used Christian Wood a little more. Got us that double-double we were looking for. Shout out to Christian Wood for that fantastic tip-in dunk at the end of the game. Solidified it for us. That type of energy and that type of upside is exactly what I want to see us use more of. We don't have any problems when we utilize the talent that is available to us that Darvin often doesn't want to use. And I'm telling you, I already understand this, just like I understood that Max Christie could help us last year. Max Lewis can help us now. I already understand this. I know we got this idea that we shouldn't be playing any rookies. I get that. You don't want to play rookies because historically rookies should not be played a lot because they tend to make mistakes. But what I'm telling you is this. When I look at what Max Lewis's strengths are, shot selection, athleticism, perimeter shooting, those type of things, you want to put Max Lewis on the floor in key situations so that you can get that scoring and create the spacing necessary to put yourself in a position to create more space for the other players on the floor. You don't want to poo-poo what that young player can do in short spurts of the basketball game. And if you look at what he did at Pepperdine, he was a leading guy. So you put a guy who's used to being the leading guy on the floor next to guys who are leading guys, and he can get his own. And we've already seen him make good decisions, passing up three-point shots he needed to pass up, taking off, dunking the ball, and doing various different things that displayed his athleticism. I know he needs to work on his defense. I'm not saying he's going out there and you want to put him out there to be a defender, but he does have the length and the height and the size to be competitive. He's just got to work on those principles. But I don't want us to wait to use him and overuse a guy like Taurean Prince, who has like 9 to 10 years of wear on his body. That's why Taurean Prince is already with a knee soreness situation. That's why Gabe Vincent has a knee soreness situation, because you put them dudes out there after they didn't had a whole career being worn out playing playoff basketball last season after being on the floor for the last 9 years, putting those minutes up. Those guys are tired, man. They need to be moving into the places where you have Max Christie, where you have Max Lewis, where you have Christian Wood. You know, I firmly believe the Los Angeles Lakers would have won. I don't know which game it was. But I firmly believe we would have won the game if we would have just let Christian Wood, who had a 3-for-3 night, 2 3-point shots in a row, if we would have just kept feeding him, man. If we would have just kept feeding Christian Wood, he would have likely walked out of there with 30, 35 points that night, as hot and as in rhythm as he was. And we only played him like 16 minutes. And homie went for what? 9 points when perfect shooting. I mean, now, come on, man. If a guy got a hot hand, you got to play him. You got to play him and you got to roll with that hot hand till it cool off. You know what I'm saying? And so I think it was a situation where it was against Sacramento or something. The Austin Reeves was going like 1 for 12. Why are we feeding Austin when you got a hot hand down there who's a legitimate pure scorer with length that can help you on the boards, when you know you need to be rebounding over guys like Sabonis? You know you need to be rebounding over guys like Murray and Barnes. I just want to see us use a bit more of the size that we have, a bit more of the youthful players that we have, because they don't have the wear on their legs and they actually have more upside than these role players, man. It just is what it is. And so that's where I'm coming from when I talk about the LA Lakers today, man. I think that that's what we benefited from against the Clippers. We took them dudes off the floor and we put the young guns on the floor out of necessity because those guys were hurt. And as a result, they were able to give us what they otherwise would have given us the whole time if we just used them more often. So that's what I'm saying to y'all, man. I know what works. I've been watching this team for over 30 years. I know what works. You put the Lakers on the floor, the main guys that you often use, and surround them with players who can do dirty work, who can provide athleticism and energy. What I say about LeBron James last year, he benefits off of the energy of others. Even though he's a leading guy, his personality is that of somebody who, if you're going to have energy, he's going to have a lot of energy. If you're going to get off, he going to really get off. And he's not going to make no mistakes around you so long as you're playing with energy. So that's what young players give you. That's exactly what we're going to get from those guys. Now, I'm curious to see what's going on with Rui Hachimura, because he's definitely somebody that I believe can help us on both sides of the floor. I want to see him pass the ball a little more in situations, but I know that's not his game. He puts his head down, he goes straight to the rim. If he's shooting correctly and he can give us what he gave us in the playoffs last year, we're practically unbeatable, because he's going to be a fantastic lockdown defender as he continues to get minutes in this league. We can't forget, he only played a couple minutes over in Washington and he was having injury issues. Otherwise, he's still a developing young player. And he's already shown us he can perform in the playoffs and definitely do some things efficiently scoring the basketball. So what do we need from him? We need him to get healthy, we need to get his confidence up, and we need to insert him into the starting lineup. Now, I don't know if you want to move Braun to the 3, move him to the 3. I don't think it matters. But the point is, you want them in the starting lineup. Because if you have him down there and he gets used to the main ability of scoring the ball and getting his touches at least 7 shots a game, he's going to start averaging above probably 15, 20 points a game. And there are going to be nights where he goes for 35, and if you keep him increasing, he's going to have his 40-point game. He's going to have his 50-point game. Mark my words. Rui Hachimura's ceiling goes way up because he's a big body. He's not going to be getting tired because he doesn't have a whole lot of wear and tear, and he plays defense. He can get out transition as his handle continues to improve. So I want to see us move him into the starting lineup. You put more big bodies down there that can stretch the floor, the spacing is going to be fine down there if he's shooting properly. Very difficult team to beat. Very difficult team to beat, man. And then Vando. You know, Vando, for me, it's like he's a Swiss Army knife because I can put him at just about every position existing. As long as he's able to stretch the floor, for which it looks like his three-point shot has gotten better. In the preseason, it looked like he had been working on it and it was falling. If that can carry forward, when he gets back, there's really nothing you can't do with him. There's nothing you can't do. He's going to help you with the playmaking. I told y'all that I saw him averaging probably 3 or 4 assists as a Utah Jazz. When he came into the league as a Minnesota Timberwolves, he's a rebounder. That's what he does. I mean, people were comparing him to a baby Dennis Rodman. You know what I'm saying? And his defense is probably one of the best on-ball defenders out there, period. So if his offense is going to come around in terms of scoring, he's already going to help you with everything else. And so I don't see why Vando can't make us a significantly better basketball team as we start to insert him into different lineups at just about every position. So that's what I want to say for Vando. It's going to help you defensively automatically because that's his gift. But the offensive side of the ball, if all else fails, he can make plays for others. And so for me, all of this just gives me the understanding our team is versatile. Granted, we haven't had a chance to see how versatile this team is because we've been missing these guys. But when they get back down there, it's going to be tough to see who Darvin wants to use and try to use the right players at the right time because he's going to have so many options. But you can't go wrong leaning on the hot hand. You can't go wrong playing young players who don't have a lot of wear and tear on their legs. And if we are able to just find what combinations of players work, particularly keeping Christian Wood and Anthony Davis on the floor as much as possible to help us with rebounding and shot blocking, it's going to be very difficult for teams to beat us, man. Even when we go up against the Wembanyama's and all these other teams, they're going to have to deal with us just like we got to deal with their bigs. So that's my thought, man. Y'all know I can talk this Lakers stuff all day long. It's in my soul. It ain't in my heart. It ain't in my head, rather. It's in my soul and my heart. So at this point, I just want people to understand I came all the way out here for this moment right here just to tell y'all in front of the arena that I think our team is a lot better than we've seen it. And the reason why that is because we're missing so many people and because the combinations of players that we used through 4 games wasn't all that great. I wanted to say, man, I'm here, man. I came to the hub. I came to where it's at. A place that I've been to many, many times in my life. With my mother, with friends. I used to work across the street, as I said in my previous video, right there. Used to be ESPN Zone. I was a busser there for like 2 years. This is home for me as well, man, just like Hollywood is. Downtown LA. I know downtown LA. And when it comes to the Lakers, 44 knows the LA Lakers. I thank you all for watching. I'm out.